that night was a radical moment for me. Because you know how people say they cuss like a sailor? I cussed like a sailor. At 15 years old, I had such a... Now, I didn't do it around my parents. I was respectful. I knew when to do it and when not to. At school, all day long. I would every word in the book.
I hear you.
But the moment I got saved...
That's what rappers do, right?
The moment I got saved, it changed me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it no more.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to let it come out of my mouth.
Just didn't even feel right.
Didn't even feel right. And I had people in school that found out, because people would ask me, you know, like that next week, they were asking me, what happened to you? You're different.
Yeah.
We can see a change in you. You don't even speak the same. And I told them I gave my heart to Christ. And from that point on, I had people that didn't know me. Friends wouldn't try, but people that didn't really know me, they would try to make me slip and do dumb things.
Aren't friends great?
Oh, my goodness. And you know what's funny is I ran with the oddest crowds.
Yeah.
I ran with the Satanists. I ran with those people. I ran with the pagans. Yeah. I ran with all the people that did everything the wrong way and worshiped. I mean, you should have seen some of my friends back then. I had friends that were suicidal, that were always cutting themselves, but I didn't feel a need to pull myself back from them. I stayed in the presence with them, and they saw the change. And I pray to this day that they were able to find God and find peace. I see some of them around town, and I know some that's passed away from drug overdoses and stuff. And I think back to, you know, that's 13 years ago. And some of those people I knew have died from those things. And it breaks my heart because I found something then.
Right.
I found a joy and just something to look forward to and to chase after in high school.
So how has all that experience, the crowd you hung with, you know, all that, because, you know, if you're hanging out with a crowd like that, especially that was obviously different than you, then that meant you were pretty accepting of people.
Yeah.
Right? Loving, compassionate. Like, you know, the example we have in scripture is when Jesus hung out with the tax collectors, right? Those were the real bad guys back in the day. And, of course, he got chastised for it. You know, why are you hanging out with them? You know, you're supposed to be Jesus. You're supposed to be, you know, but, and he had a real good answer for him. He said, well, you know, the people who think they're well don't need any medicine. Yeah. Right? So, fast forward into your perspective on ministry now, and the pull, the tug, as we call in the Christian world, the call of God that you feel pulling on your life. How has all that made you who you are today? Your passion, your heart, the way you see people. Because I know around here at Tabernacle of Praise, you do a few different things. Yeah, like I put it this way: I wear a coat of many colors. You do. It's like even this thing we do here. You know, the past couple times we've recorded, you know, you've been behind the camera and you sat there and just make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. You help set up, you know, the best we can with the settings and stuff. But then you're also up on Sunday mornings speaking, doing some different things for the church. I know we always call it emceeing, you know, or whatever. And then you teach on Wednesday nights, and you know, you do some different things. So how has all that impacted what you want to do today? Because it seems like it, and it usually does when God works on an individual. It all strings together. Yeah. It all makes sense. Well, see, I've been through different ministries. You know, growing up, when I got saved, I started working in the youth group. After that, our youth pastor changed, and immediately he took me under his wing. Okay. And he started mentoring me. So I was assistant youth pastor for about 6 years. So I worked with the young people. That was where my heart was for a long time. Was working with the young people and trying to get these young people to see what I found in high school. Now, I was working with middle schoolers, and let me tell you, youth pastors, if you're watching this, you guys have a job, because
it's a nightmare in itself sometimes.
It's something
It's
else.
a challenge.
It really is.
I have the utmost respect for youth pastors because they get I think they get some of the least amount of praise and honor given to them for what they do.
It's tough.
It is. It's very tough.
And I can only imagine how tough it is today with all the cultural, social clashes that are taking place. Well, this is love. No, that's love. And this is right. No, that's right. And this is what you should be learning. No, this is what you should. I mean, like, are you kidding me? Because I did it for like 10 years straight. And then I did it a couple years after that, back when I was a little bit younger. And it was work then. I mean, it was work.
Yeah.
But today, holy cow. I mean, I have a hard enough time just with my 5 boys trying to
guide them. And the thing is, youth pastors only get them for about maybe 2 hours a week.
Right.
And, I can tell you this. For me, ministry is easy. When it comes to like getting a message prepped, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to trying to teach a message to a youth group, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Well,
it's a whole nother ball. And don't get me wrong, when I say ministry is easy, it does come natural for me, but it's also something that I love to do.
Yeah.
So it makes it fun.
Well, yeah. So, this is what I've said for a long time. And we don't seem to have as much of an issue with it now as in the past. But, I've been at this church for quite a while. And I know in the past, everybody wanted to be a preacher.
Oh, yeah.
Because ministry meant you got to get up in front of everybody and speak to them.
Yeah.
And, there are some people say public speaking's like the worst fear ever, But
let me tell you.
But there's a lot of people that really enjoy it. And they like they like the attention.
Yeah.
Most people do.
Yeah.
Even the most humble people at times, everybody just likes a good pat on the back. But anyways, I'm like, dude, but that's the easy part.
Yeah. It absolutely is.
It really is, because true ministries, like in the trenches, taking a beating, turning the other cheek.
Yeah. I've had to do that
when
before.
somebody tries to smack you down and you're like wanting to retaliate.
Yep.
I mean,
So when I say ministry is easy, I don't want pastors to hear this and think, well, this guy has no idea what he's talking about.
This young kid.
Yeah, this young man, he doesn't know ministry.
This young buck.
Yeah. But when I say ministry, my background in ministry is not behind the scenes in the office dealing with the people. My ministry has been so far out front, preaching here and there. I do the audio visual ministry part of it where
I was going to say, to me, you do a lot of you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
That's most of my ministry, but like anytime I've ever spoken, that's the easy part for me to get up and speak.
Right.
Pastors have a whole nother job of managing a church.
Right.
That is, so I don't want pastors to think that I'm saying your job's easy, because it's not. I just think for me getting up and speaking, which the funny thing about getting up and speaking for me, I hate public speaking. Like in school, I was so terrified whenever I had to give a speech or anything. I'm literally shaking and like white knuckling the podium or whatever. I absolutely hate public speaking. So for me to be able to get up in ministry and do ministry and preach and all these things, that's a God thing. Because He's given me the boldness to be able to get past that and do it in a way that I don't seem like I'm always tripping over myself.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I know, dude, this is how good it was. I forgot what you said, but no, it was, it's been a while back, but I remember one time you got up and spoke, and I was like, and I think I actually said something to you afterward. I was like, wow, man, like that was good. Because you're right. You carried yourself well, where, you hear some people, they're tripping all over themselves. You could tell they're nervous. Like you were flowing like you've been doing it. Like it was natural to you.
And that's the God thing of it.
Yeah.
That's the God thing. Because me, naturally, I don't like like if you ever see me in a big crowded room, I'm the quietest one in the corner. I don't like being involved with people directly a lot of times, especially new people. I'm very shy. And I know I had a few people in the church tell me, like, do you not like me? I'm like, what do you mean? No, I like you. Why? Like, well, you don't say hi. You don't look at me. And what a lot of people don't realize is...
Did you tell them to quit being so needy?
No. I know not to do that.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know not to do that.
Good for you.
But a lot of times people don't realize I'm on a mission. And my wife tells me this all the time. When you're on a mission, people don't talk to you because the look on your face looks like you're going to kill somebody if they get in your way. And I'm thinking, well, I don't mean to do that.
Right.
It's just, it's the way I'm
when
wired.
when you're here, I mean, this is what I know about you. Again, maybe a lot in the congregation don't, and especially new people.
Yeah.
But when you're here, you're working.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you are. You're
Yeah.
working, and you know, you get to do your thing, and then a lot of times you'll sit there in the front row, and you're able to participate in the service.
Yeah.
But the whole time, you're still
I'm monitoring.
you're still working up here.
Now, I will tell you, the only reason I'm even in the front row and able to participate is because Pastor.
Yeah.
Pastor told me when I got done setting everything up, he told me, he said, I don't want you in the back anymore.
Yeah.
He said, you have to be in the front row.
Yeah.
You have to get into worship.
Yeah.
That's where I want you.
Oh,
And that's the only reason I'm up there. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for that, I would be in the back working constantly.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm wired, I guess.
Right.
Which
right.
my wife sometimes looks at as a flaw because I don't do that at home.
Yeah.
I'm more wired to work in the church
Right.
than I am at home.
Right.
So she sees that flaw.
Those wives, they need to take it easy on us, don't they? I mean, you know, if a man says he'll get something done,
Exactly.
they don't need to remind us every 6 months. I mean, you know what I mean? We're going to get it done.
Eventually. That's what I tell her. Eventually I'm going to do
Right.
it. When I look at it and one day I have free time.
Right. It's
it'll
not
get
going
done.
anywhere.
Yeah. But no, you know, and when I'm in the ministry world, you know, I do the couples class.
Yeah.
That is one place where my heart is at because I grew up in a split home. Mm-hmm. I grew up seeing kids, you know, devastated by this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the numbers, the statistics for married couples in the church baffle me. Mm-hmm. The amount of divorce. Mm-hmm. I think at one time the divorce rate in the church was higher than what it was in the world, and that shocked me because we shouldn't be that way.
Right.
We should be the ones that are setting the example for what is to be the marriage, what is to be a relationship.
If we base our I'll call it our belief system of Scripture and God's kingdom, I mean, we have to base it off of the foundation, Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And even Scripture says what God has joined together.
Yeah. Let no man separate.
And so I agree. I mean, it is sad. It is troubling. You know, every case is different.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I understand there's caveats.
Yeah,
there's always a caveat to something, you know.
But it is altogether. I mean, we have to admit it is altogether sad.
It is
that it's that much.
And even the caveats. What gets me is the caveats to that rule. Like I've always told people that if a woman is getting abused physically, emotionally, to a point where it's tearing them apart, and I understand having to leave.
Just to get out.
I understand that. That's, and I'm not saying that as excuses. Oh, you have an exception to the rule. That's somebody's life.
Right.
That's one of God's children
right.
that is being abused.
Right.
But in those caveats, what's sad is that we have Christian men that do that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And part of that's from the old school teachings. You know, men ruled the household with an iron fist. And
so thanks for watching. Again, and so what's this? These episodes will show in May throughout this month, and we'll be back in June. So typically what we do, if you haven't figured it out yet, because we're all wearing the same clothes, is we'll record a big session, and then we'll divide it up into 4 parts and show it throughout the month, just for something extra if you want to watch, and so you can get to know some of the people that go to church with you here at Tabernacle of Praise. And then if this continues and spreads out beyond this local assembly, then so be it. And it's just a good time. And if you have any questions, comments, just let us know. And I'll quit rambling, and we will see you next month.
Sounds good.
Next month. All right.